Have you been told that walking is the best exercise after 70? That if you get your daily steps in, you're doing just fine? Well, here's what no one's saying out loud. Walking alone might not be enough to keep your body strong, balanced, and protected as you age. In fact, if it's the only thing you're doing, you might be missing out on something crucial. And worse, your legs, joints, and even your independence could suffer for it. Now, don't get me wrong, walking is wonderful. It gets your blood flowing, helps with circulation, and keeps you moving. But here's the truth. Your body changes after 70. You start to lose more muscle. Your bones become more fragile. Your balance isn't what it used to be. And just walking, even a long walk every day, doesn't challenge the parts of your body that need the most attention. So what should you be doing instead? That's what we're diving into today. Stick around, because in this video, we're going to talk about a few simple habits that can actually protect your body, improve your strength, and keep you feeling young, even if you're already well into your 70s, 80s, or beyond. These tips aren't complicated, and they won't wear you out. In fact, they might just make your everyday walk more effective, and your daily life a whole lot easier. Let's start with the first thing that often gets overlooked: muscle strength. See, your muscles are like the scaffolding that holds you upright. After 70, your body starts to naturally lose muscle mass. This process is called sarcopenia, and it doesn't matter how active you were in your younger years. It catches up with all of us. The problem? When your muscles shrink, your legs get weaker, your knees ache more, and even something as simple as getting out of a chair can become a challenge. Walking alone doesn't do much to build muscle. Sure, it works your heart and lungs a bit, and maybe your calves if you're going uphill, but it doesn't target the major muscle groups in your thighs, hips, and core. Those are the muscles that keep you steady when you step off a curb, or when you're climbing stairs, or trying to avoid a fall. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment to build muscle. One of the easiest and most effective things you can do is add bodyweight strength movements a few times a week. Think of simple things like standing up and sitting down from a chair without using your hands. That alone works your thighs and hips more than a long walk does. Or try holding onto a countertop and slowly lifting your heels off the ground to work your calves and improve your balance. It may sound basic, but that's the point. These small moves, when done regularly, keep your muscles firing and your legs strong enough to support you through the years. The second thing that walking doesn't quite touch is your balance system. And this is a big one. Balance is like a skill. You either use it or lose it. And the older we get, the faster it fades. You've probably noticed it already. Maybe you feel a little unsteady when getting dressed or when you're reaching for something on a shelf. Maybe you've caught yourself wobbling on uneven ground. These are warning signs your balance needs work, and just walking on flat sidewalks won't help much. Here's something most people don't realize. Balance isn't just about your feet. It involves your inner ear, your vision, your core, and the way your brain coordinates all of them. The good news? You can train it and improve it with just a few minutes a day. One of my favorite balance boosters is something called a tandem stance. You simply stand near a counter or a chair, put one foot directly in front of the other, heel to toe, like you're on a tightrope, and try to hold it. Even 30 seconds a day can wake up your balance system and retrain your body to feel steadier. Another one, stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. It sounds silly, but it works. These little movements teach your muscles and brain how to adjust and correct themselves when you're off balance. That means fewer falls, fewer injuries, and more confidence in everyday life. Let me tell you something else I've learned from folks who've kept their strength and independence well into their 90s. They don't just move, they move with intention. That means they do exercises that challenge their muscles, wake up their balance, and keep their joints mobile. And most of them say the same thing. I wish I had started this earlier. But the great part is, it's never too late to start. Whether you're 70 or 87, your body still responds. You can still get stronger. You can still feel more confident. You just need to go beyond walking. So far, we've talked about building muscle and training balance. Two areas that walking simply doesn't cover. But there's one more piece that ties it all together. Something that most people ignore until it starts giving them trouble. Let's talk about that next. Now, let's get into the part that doesn't usually come up in doctor visits unless there's already a problem: joint mobility. You know, the ease with which your body moves without pain or stiffness. It's one of those things you don't really notice until one day Your shoulder just won't reach the top shelf, or your hips ache after sitting too long, or your knees sound like a bowl of popcorn every time you stand up. And here's the thing, walking doesn't improve your joint mobility. In fact, if your joints are already stiff or inflamed, too much walking can actually make it worse, especially if your steps are limited to the same kind of surface, same pace, same motion every day. Your joints need variety. They need gentle movement in different directions, not just forward, forward, forward. What your joints really crave is something called dynamic mobility. That just means controlled movement that takes your joints through their full range without forcing them. Think of it like giving your body a morning stretch, but with purpose. One easy way to do this? Try gentle leg swings while holding onto the back of a chair. Start small. Just let your leg move forward and back, then side to side. You're not aiming for a high kick here, just enough to remind your hips they can still move like they used to. Another great one is simple shoulder rolls. So many of us hold tension in our neck and shoulders without even realizing it. That tension stiffens your spine and limits your range of motion. Just rolling your shoulders in slow, circular motions, 10 forward, 10 backward, can work wonders. Do that once in the morning and again in the evening, and you'll be surprised how much looser you feel. These movements only take a few minutes, but those few minutes can mean the difference between comfortably reaching for a pot in the cabinet or pulling a muscle, doing something as simple as putting on a sweater. But here's where people often get stuck. They think, well, I'm too old to be doing all that stretching and swinging around. And let me tell you, that mindset is the real problem. Your body still listens to you. Every day you move, you're either telling it to grow stronger and stay flexible, or you're telling it to stiffen up and give in. And that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, core strength. Most people think your core just means your belly, but it actually includes your entire midsection, your lower back, sides, hips, and even the muscles deep inside your abdomen. These muscles are what hold you upright when you stand, stabilize you when you reach or twist, and keep you from falling when you lose balance. After 70, your core becomes even more important because when it weakens, your whole posture changes. You start leaning forward without realizing it. Your back gets tired faster. And worst of all, it puts pressure on your knees and hips. And that's often when the pain starts showing up. So how do you fix it? You don't need crunches or sit-ups. In fact, those can do more harm than good at our age. What you need are gentle core activations that protect your spine and strengthen those deep, supportive muscles. One of the easiest and safest ways to do that is by using a move called the seated knee lift. Sit tall in a chair. Keep your back straight and slowly lift one knee toward your chest. Hold for a second, then lower it. Alternate sides. It may look like nothing, but if you do 10 of these a few times a day, you're waking up the muscles that keep you strong and stable while walking, standing, even getting out of bed. Another favorite of mine is what I call the tummy squeeze. Just sit or stand tall. Take a deep breath in, then as you breathe out, gently pull your belly in as if you're tightening a belt without holding your breath. Hold that gentle squeeze for a few seconds, then release. That's your core learning how to support you again. No floor mats, no sweat, just control and consistency. When you strengthen your core, everything else becomes easier. Walking gets safer. Standing feels more comfortable. You even start to breathe deeper because posture and breath go hand in hand. Now, at this point, some people might say, all right, I'm doing my walking, I'm moving my joints, I'm working on strength and balance, but I still feel tired all the time. Why? And that's such an important question because physical activity alone isn't the full picture. Your energy isn't just about movement. It's about recovery. It's about fueling your body properly and giving it what it needs after you've moved. This is the part that gets left out too often. Recovery habits. What you do after your activity matters just as much, sometimes more, than the activity itself. Without proper recovery, your body doesn't get stronger, it just gets tired. So, how do you recover properly at our age? It starts with the basics. Hydration, protein, sleep, but also something that's completely free and surprisingly powerful, deep breathing and rest. Most people overlook the role of the nervous system. When we're constantly tense, distracted, or in a hurry, even in retirement, our body stays in a state of alert. That means your muscles don't fully relax, your heart rate stays elevated, and you miss the healing effects of true rest. After your movement, Even something as short as a 5-minute quiet session, just sitting, breathing deeply, eyes closed, can help your body reset. That's when your muscles begin to rebuild. That's when your joints start to heal. And that's when your body says, all right, I'm ready for another day. So if walking has been your main form of exercise, that's okay. It's still a great foundation. But now you know it's not the whole picture. Your body needs more than steps. It needs strength, flexibility, balance, and rest. When you give it those things, that's when you truly feel the difference, not just in your legs, but in your life. Let's keep going. Because now that we've got the body moving in the right direction, there's still one more area we can't afford to ignore. You probably heard the saying, use it or lose it, right? Well, here's the part they never explain. It doesn't just apply to muscles or balance. It applies to your brain too. And if there's one thing most people overlook after 70, it's the way physical movement and mental sharpness are deeply connected. See, the truth is your mind thrives on challenge. Just like your muscles need resistance to grow stronger, your brain needs novelty, new patterns, coordination, and engagement. But if your daily routine is nothing but flat walking, familiar steps, and autopilot activity, your brain isn't being asked to do much at all. And slowly, without warning, it begins to check out. That's why this next piece is so important. Coordination, movements that require your brain and body to work together. Things that make you think while you move. It doesn't have to be complicated. Actually, the simpler it starts, the better. Here's one of my favorite ways to sharpen coordination. Opposite hand and leg raises. While standing near a counter for safety, slowly raise your right arm and left leg at the same time. Hold for a second, then switch sides. It takes a surprising amount of focus, especially at first, but that's exactly the point. You're waking up neural pathways that may have gone quiet. You're retraining your brain to stay alert, responsive, and connected to your body. Even walking in a figure-8 pattern can do wonders. You don't need a huge space. Just pace around 2 chairs in a loop. Your brain has to pay attention to the turns, the spacing, and the direction, all while keeping your balance. It sounds silly, but these small mental challenges are gold. They help improve reaction time, reduce the risk of falls, and keep your thinking sharp. And don't forget, music helps too. Try marching in place while clapping along to a favorite tune. Your timing, your rhythm, your coordination, everything lights up when you add music to movement. It's fun, it's energizing, and honestly, it's a great way to put a smile on your face. Now, while we're on the topic of movement and mental sharpness, there's one more factor that ties everything together: your posture. It may not sound exciting, but posture is like the foundation of a house. If it's off, everything above it starts to sag and shift. Over time, many people unconsciously adopt what's called a forward posture. That hunched over position where your head is in front of your body, shoulders rolled forward and back rounded. Sound familiar? It happens slowly, especially when we sit a lot or lean forward while walking. But here's the problem. It compresses your lungs, reduces your balance, shortens your stride, and saps your energy. Now, the fix isn't about standing up straight all the time. That's exhausting and hard to maintain. Instead, it's about gently retraining your muscles to support good alignment. Start with something called the chin tuck. Sit or stand tall, then gently pull your chin back, like you're trying to make a double chin. Yes, it looks a little goofy. Hold for 5 seconds, then release. This helps realign your neck and reduces strain on your spine. Try doing this a few times throughout the day. It's small but powerful. Then, check in with your shoulders. Are they creeping up toward your ears? Are they hunched forward? Roll them back and down, even just for a few seconds. Over time, these little posture resets help your whole body move more efficiently. They also reduce pain in the neck, shoulders, and lower back. And guess what? Better posture helps your mood too. When your body opens up, your breathing improves. Your brain gets more oxygen. You feel more alert and capable. You literally stand taller in your own life. But here's the part that really matters. None of these changes need to happen all at once. You're not climbing a mountain tomorrow. You're building a routine that supports your future self. One movement at a time, 1 minute at a time. Think of it like watering a plant. A little every day keeps it thriving. Too much all at once, it just gets overwhelmed. So don't worry if you feel out of shape. Don't worry if your balance is off or your muscles aren't what they used to be. The goal here isn't to get back to your 30s. It's to move forward with confidence. to know that you're doing what your body needs right now in the season you're in. Remember, you're not just walking to stay active anymore. You're learning how to move smarter, stronger, and with more intention. That's what keeps you independent. That's what keeps you steady on your feet. That's what lets you enjoy life, whether it's chasing your grandkids, tending your garden, or simply walking to the mailbox without worrying about your knees giving out. You've made it this far in life. You've earned the right to move with ease and purpose. Now let's take that strength and use it in a way that works for you, not just your heart, but for your muscles, your joints, your balance, and your brain. And as we wrap up, there's just one more piece we need to talk about. Because even with all this movement, one mistake could still set you back, and it's something many people over 70 never even consider. Now, let's talk about the piece that quietly undoes all your efforts if you're not careful. You could be doing everything right, stretching, balancing, strengthening, even coordinating your movements. But if you make this one mistake, you might end up right back where you started, or worse, injured. And that mistake is ignoring your body's warning signs. At this stage in life, it's easy to shrug things off. A little stiffness in the knees, that's just aging. A bit of soreness in the hips, probably just slept wrong. We get used to these little signals. We power through them. But here's the truth. Your body whispers before it screams. That mild ache could be a sign your form is off. That nagging tightness might be your joints begging for a different kind of movement. And that sudden wave of fatigue after an activity, that's not laziness. It could be your body's way of asking for better recovery. Now, I'm not saying you need to panic every time something feels off, but I am saying it's time to listen a little closer. Because the older we get, the more important it becomes to work with our bodies, not against them. One way to stay in tune with your body is by doing something I call a body scan check-in. It's simple. Just take a moment before and after your movement routine to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and scan from head to toe. Notice how your neck feels, your shoulders, your back, your legs. Is anything tighter than usual? Are you favoring one side? Is your balance slightly off today? These are clues. They're not signs to stop. They're signs to adjust. And when you do feel discomfort, don't just reach for the painkillers and move on. Ask yourself, is this joint pain or muscle soreness? Is this tension or weakness? Sometimes the best medicine isn't medicine at all. It's movement, hydration, rest, or maybe just changing the way you move. So, to wrap it all up in a way that doesn't sound like a lecture, let me just say this. Walking is a beautiful habit. It's calming, it's familiar, and it gets you outdoors. But if you're relying on walking alone to take care of your health after 70, you're leaving too much on the table. Because after 70, your body needs more than steps. It needs strength training to protect your muscles and bones. It needs balance work to prevent falls. It needs mobility to keep your joints moving freely. It needs core support for posture and energy. And it needs coordination to keep your brain sharp and body responsive. Most importantly, it needs rest, awareness, and recovery. So you're not just moving, but actually improving. The beauty of this is that none of it requires fancy equipment, a personal trainer, or long hours. You can start with a chair, a wall, your breath, and just 10 minutes a day. And those 10 minutes, done consistently, can change how you feel for the next 10 years. Imagine waking up without aches, walking with steady legs and clear focus, getting up from the floor without hesitation. That's not just possible, it's within reach. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Now, before we go, I want you to remember something. You're not doing this to impress anyone. You're not doing it because you have to. You're doing it because you deserve to feel good in your own body. Because you've spent a lifetime taking care of others. And now, it's time to take care of you. So if this video helped open your eyes to what your body really needs, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what part resonated most with you. Are you working on your balance? Adding strength training? Just getting started after a long break? Let's support each other here. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people just like you discover the truth about staying healthy after 70. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're just getting started, and there's a lot more to share that can help you feel stronger, sharper, and more independent each day. Until next time, take care of yourself, move with purpose, and remember, it's never too late to feel better. Here's to living your best life at any age.